The funeral was tasteful, I'll give them that. White roses, soft classical music, and a eulogy that painted my father as a devoted family man. Just not devoted to his first family. Gerald was a wonderful husband and father, my stepmother Cheryl said, dabbing at her dry eyes. He gave everything to make our children's dreams come true. I sat in the back row, invisible as always. Margaret Foster, 32. The daughter from the marriage that didn't count. The one who chose engineering over law, who fixed cars instead of climbing ladders, who never gave him the bragging rights he craved. My stepbrother Chad nodded along, his watch glinting. My stepsister Madison clutched a designer bag, paid for with what used to be my college fund. They'd known Gerald Foster for 8 years. I'd known him for 24 before he decided I wasn't worth knowing anymore. After the service, the lawyer gathered us in Dad's study, the same room where he once told me I was throwing my life away by becoming a mechanic. Brazilian mahogany shelves lined with books he hadn't read, diplomas from schools that never taught him empathy. The will is straightforward, Attorney Morrison said. Mr. Foster has left his entire estate to his wife, Cheryl Foster, and her children, Chad and Madison Williams. No surprise there. Dad had been threatening to cut me out for years. There is, however, a personal note, Morrison continued, adjusting his glasses. To Margaret, I leave no inheritance. I hope one day you understand the importance of loyalty to family. Cheryl's smile didn't reach her eyes. I'm sorry, Margaret, but you heard your father's wishes. I think it's best if you leave now. We need to grieve as a family. Of course, I said quietly, standing. I'll just get my things. Things? Cheryl's voice sharpened. You don't live here. My tools. In the garage. Dad let me store them. The garage is part of the estate now, she interrupted. Everything in it belongs to us. Chad needs the space. Chad, who had never touched a wrench in his life, smirked. Yeah, sis. Time to move on. Sis, he called me that from day one. Like we were close. Like I hadn't caught him taking money from Dad's wallet. Like I hadn't stayed silent to keep the peace. I'll get them tomorrow, I said. You'll get them now, or not at all. Cheryl opened the door. And leave your key. All keys to Foster property. I pulled out my keychain. My hand found the house key I'd carried for 32 years. The one to my childhood home. The place where my mother taught me to change oil in the driveway. Where she died when I was 14. Where my father remarried before her headstone had weathered a full season. This key. I held it up. All keys, Cheryl snapped. I unclipped it, set it on the table by the door. Anything else? Just leave, Margaret, please. I walked out, past the kitchen where I'd learned to cook, past the stairs I tumbled down learning to skateboard, past the doorframe where my growth marks stopped at 14. I got in my truck, the one Dad once called an eyesore, and drove away. But not far. Just to the coffee shop on Maple Street. I ordered a black coffee and opened my laptop. You see, I said to the screen, starting the livestream I had scheduled. My father never read the fine print. Some people never do. My small YouTube channel, Meg Fixes It, usually focused on car repairs. Today was different. Story time. I continued. When my mom passed, she left me a trust fund. Not much, but enough for college. Dad convinced me to let him manage it. I was 14 and grieving. I signed whatever he gave me. Comments rolled in. Emojis filled the screen, support, disbelief, anger. But my mom was smarter than anyone gave her credit for. The trust had conditions. It couldn't be touched until I turned 25. And when I did, I got all of it. $400,000. I took a sip, glancing at my phone's security app. Cheryl's car had just pulled into the driveway. Dad spent years trying to break that trust. Lawyers, loopholes, even questionable paperwork. Nothing worked. So when I finally got my money, he disarmed me, said I wasn't contributing to the family. The chat blew up. Someone sent a donation with a message. We got your back. Funny thing is, I said, I didn't contribute to his family. I contributed to mine. The house he lived in. The one they just inherited. I bought it. The viewer count jumped. Dad's business collapsed in 2018. Bad investments. He was about to lose our house. My childhood home, Mom's dream. So I bought it during foreclosure. Quietly, anonymously. I leaned in toward the camera. They don't know it yet, but they will. I pulled up the deed on screen, Name clearly visible. Margaret J. Foster, sole owner. But I'm not heartless. I let him live there. Rent-free. All I asked was that he keep it maintained and pay the utilities. Told him it was a family arrangement. He never questioned why there was no lease. Never asked to see papers. Just assumed his disappointing daughter was finally useful. My phone buzzed. Cheryl, probably discovering the utilities were in my name. The best part? I smiled at the camera. He bragged about it. Told everyone how he negotiated with the bank to keep his house. How his business savvy saved the family home. His new wife believed every word. Another buzz. Then another. Then the phone rang. I declined it. Now legally, I could have evicted him any time. But I didn't, because despite everything, he was my father. And that house holds my mother's memory. But now he's gone, and his widow just kicked me out of my own property. I stood gathering my things. So if you'll excuse me, I have an eviction to serve. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the update. The sheriff met me at the house. Deputy Williams, no relation to my step-siblings, had the papers ready. 30-day notice? He asked. 3-day notice for trespassing, I corrected. They have no lease, no rental agreement, no legal right to be there. And she just admitted on recording that she considers it solely foster property, my ex-father's property, which doesn't exist. He whistled low. This is going to be ugly. It already was. Cheryl answered the door in my mother's apron, the sunflower one Mom wore for Sunday dinners. Margaret? I told you. Ma'am, Deputy Williams interrupted. I'm here to serve you with an eviction notice. You have 3 days to vacate the premises. The color drained from her face. Eviction? This is my house. Gerald left it to me. Gerald Foster didn't own this house, I said calmly. I do, have since 2018. Check the county records. That's impossible, he said. She stopped, realization dawning. You're lying. This is fraud. Here's the deed. I handed her a certified copy. And here's 6 years of property tax payments, all from my accounts, all in my name. Chad appeared behind her, face red. You can't do this. We're family. According to the will I just heard, I'm not family. I'm a disappointment who deserves nothing. I smiled pleasantly. So I'm treating you like the strangers you wanted to be. I'll sue, Cheryl shrieked. I'll take everything you have. With what grounds? You have no lease. No proof of residency except utility bills you didn't pay. No claim except the word of a dead man who didn't own what he promised you. Deputy Williams stepped forward. Mom, I need you to acknowledge receipt of these papers. She snatched them, tearing them immediately. There, now leave. That's destruction of legal documents, Williams noted, pulling out duplicates. And I'm required to post these on the door anyway. 3 days, ma'am. Madison finally appeared, phone in hand. I'm calling our lawyer. Good luck, I said. I'm sure Attorney Morrison will be happy to explain property law. For $400 an hour. As we walked back to our vehicles, Williams shook his head. You know they're going to trash the place. Already thought of that. I held up my phone, showing the security system alerts. Cameras in every room, activated this morning. Any damage is criminal destruction of property. He laughed. Remind me never to piss you off. That evening, my phone exploded. Texts, calls, emails. The family gravepine was in overdrive. From Uncle Pete, is it true you own Gerald's house? From Cousin Sarah, Cheryl's calling everyone saying you forged documents. From my father's brother James, you conniving little bitch. How dare you disrespect your father's memory? I responded to exactly none of them. Instead, I sat in my apartment, small but mine, and pulled out a box I'd hidden for 6 years. Inside, every document that mattered. The trust from my mother, the foreclosure notices, the deed transfer, and a letter I'd never sent. Asterisk dad asterisk, asterisk I bought the house to save Mom's memory, not yours. Every month you lived there rent-free was a gift you didn't deserve. But I kept hoping someday you'd ask why. That you'd wonder how your disappointment of a daughter could afford it. That maybe you'd be proud instead of entitled asterisk. Asterisk you never asked asterisk. Asterisk love anyway. Asterisk Meg asterisk. I fed it to the shredder. He wasn't worth the paper. The next morning brought lawyers, 3 of them, according to my doorbell camera. I didn't answer. They slipped papers under my door. threatening letters about elder abuse, fraud, emotional distress. I forwarded them to my lawyer Diane, who laughed for 5 solid minutes. They're claiming you manipulated a man who's been dead for a week into giving you a house you bought 6 years ago. She wheezed. This is amazing. I'm framing this. Can they actually do anything? They can waste money on filing fees. Judge Martinez will laugh them out of court. She paused. Did you really let him live there free for 6 years? Stupid, right? Kind, which makes their legal position even worse. No good deed, Meg. Day 2 brought more chaos. Chad tried breaking in, apparently forgetting about cameras. The footage of him falling off the ladder went viral on my channel. Madison posted tearful videos about her evil stepsister stealing her home. I responded with 6 years of tax documents, but Cheryl was smarter. She played the grieving widow card, giving interviews about how her husband's estranged daughter was dishonoring his memory. How she was suddenly homeless with 2 children. Never mind that Chad was 28 and Madison 26. I stayed quiet, let them talk, let them dig. Day 3 arrived with beautiful morning light streaming through my apartment windows. I made coffee, checked my cameras, and watched Cheryl supervise movers from the lawn. They were actually leaving, but not quietly. The call came from my neighbor, Mrs. Chen. Meg, dear, you need to see what they're doing. I pulled up the exterior cameras. They were loading trucks, yes. But also, was that my mother's piano? Don't worry, Mrs. Chen. I'm on my way. I arrived to find them stripping the house, not just their belongings, everything. Light fixtures, appliances, the vintage doorknobs my mother had collected. They even pulled up sections of hardwood flooring. Stop, I said calmly, recording everything. You're committing felony theft. Cheryl whirled, triumphant. This is all Gerald's property. The will says I inherit everything of his. The house isn't his. Neither is anything attached to it. Put it all back. Make me. Chad stepped forward, all 5'8" of entitled rage. I smiled. Okay. The police arrived in 4 minutes. I called them before leaving my apartment, knowing exactly what I'd find. Cheryl tried to explain, but it's hard to justify loading someone else's refrigerator into a truck. That's mine, she kept insisting. Gerald bought it. With my money, I corrected. While living in my house. Here's the receipt. I pulled it up on my phone. Pay from my account, delivered to my address, my name on the warranty. One by one, they had to unload everything. The movers, paid by the hour, weren't complaining. Chad and Madison were loudly about civil rights and harassment and how they'd make me pay. Speaking of paying, I said as the last fixture was returned, you owe me 6 years of utilities, roughly $23,000. I have all the bills. Cheryl's face went purple. You said it was a family arrangement, and you said I wasn't family. The police stayed until they left. Cheryl in her Mercedes, Chad in his Audi, Madison in her BMW. All gifts from my father, bought with money that should have included my mother's daughter. They peeled out dramatically, probably heading for the lawyer's office. I stood in my empty house, our empty house, and breathed. It smelled like lemon cleaner and broken promises. The walls held shadows of family photos I wasn't in. The kitchen remembered dinners I wasn't invited to. Mrs. Chen appeared with cookies and sympathy. Your mother would be proud. Would she? I sat on the floor, suddenly exhausted. I just made myself an orphan twice. No, dear, you just stop letting them bury you. That night, I got one last message. Not from Cheryl or the steps, but from an unknown number. This is Patricia Williams, Madison's mother. The real one. Thank you for exposing what kind of people they are. Gerald destroyed my marriage and poisoned my children against me. Watching them get kicked out of their house was better than therapy. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I saved the number. Maybe I would call. Maybe I'd learn how my father had destroyed another family before moving on to mine. But not tonight. Tonight I walked through my house, really mine now, and made plans. The sunflower apron went in the donation pile. The Brazilian mahogany study would become an art studio. The garage would host my tools again, maybe even some classes for kids who wanted to learn. My mother had loved this house. She'd planted the garden, chosen the paint colors, made it home. Dad had just lived in it, then used it, then lost it. Now it was mine to remake, a disappointment's inheritance, bought with her own money, saved with her own strength. The will had said I deserved nothing. Turns out, Nothing was all I needed to take everything back. The next morning, I started my live stream with a simple greeting. Hey everyone, Meg here. Today we're going to talk about the most important thing I've ever fixed, my life. And it started with reading the fine print. The viewer count climbed. Messages poured in from others who'd been disinherited, discarded, disappointed. We talked for hours about boundaries and breakthroughs, about mourning the parents we needed versus accepting the ones we had. And somewhere, in a basement apartment or a highway motel, Cheryl was learning what my father never understood. You can't inherit what was never yours, but you can absolutely take back what always was.